I'm definitely not a cooking show type of person. Trying to figure out the camera angle, I can't exactly get like what I'm cutting to be on screen, but that's just how it goes. Stop waving the knife around. Hello and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be very different from all my other ones. We are doing meal prep today, sort of. So what I like to do is meal prep for breakfast and lunch on Sundays. This is a little bit different though. It is Wednesday night. I'm actually cooking dinner, but what I'm making for dinner is something that I like to meal prep for lunches. So clearly I'm in my kitchen for this video, recording on a Wednesday night, which means that my son is awake. He's in the next room, so there's gonna be background noise. You might catch a tantrum if you're lucky. It's just how it's gonna be for this video. So I love meal prepping because it helps me solve two problems. It helps me eat healthier because I'm planning ahead and already making choices ahead of time to eat good, healthy foods. And the second thing is it saves me time. This is basically a form of batch working. I have a video all about how I batch lesson plan, and overall it saves time to do things in batches instead of doing everything all at once. So meal prepping is a good way to save time and help you eat healthier. So in the oven right now I have chicken. It's roasting, I guess, baking. The chicken's baking in the oven. It's Perdue Perfect portions. So we have 2 pieces in there. It's on 375 for 20 minutes. I think it says to do 350 for 20 minutes on the package, but I usually end up getting chicken that's like not cooked all the way through. For the rest of the meal, I'm going to be roasting vegetables, starting with sweet potato, and it's so hard to cut. So I'm just gonna be cutting it into pieces and throwing it onto a cookie sheet to roast it. So I'm actually getting like pretty big pieces. I'm gonna take them and cut them in half so that they roast a little faster. One of the keys to roasting vegetables is to try and get them to be the same size so that they're all cooking evenly. So if you've been following me on Instagram, then you know that the kitchen is somewhat new. We came home one day and my husband found the water running full blast in the kitchen, and the faucet was actually turned so that it was all pouring over the countertop instead of the drain. And the kitchen's basically been out of commission ever since, so it's been over a month. Just today the dishwasher got dropped off, so like the stuff is still here. The dishwasher is not hooked up yet, but it's the last thing that we're waiting on. Everything else is done. So we are pretty sure that it had to be a cat getting up onto the counter, and our one cat in particular is a rescue, and I believe his mother was feral, and he liked to get into the plants that we had on the windowsill in the kitchen above the sink and dig in the dirt, and pretty sure that he's the one that did it. That day when we came home, the other 2 cats were kind of watching what was going on, like what happened, and the cat that we suspect did this was kind of sitting in the corner looking really guilty. The next thing that I'm going to be chopping up is broccoli. I like the broccoli roasted with the sweet potato, and you could do whatever vegetables make you happy. And I'm really just chopping off like the florets. I'm not trying to get the whole stem or anything. I like this particular meal prep because it's a very simple, just cutting up vegetables, putting them on a roasting pan, seasoning them with some oil, throw it in the oven, and that's it. So just a general life update. We are now in the 2nd semester at school. Our first 5 weeks ends, I think it's like next Tuesday. So we do progress reports every 5 weeks. Well, not every 5 weeks. The first 5 weeks of a marking period, and then at the end of the 10 weeks for the marking period, we do actual report cards. So I feel like in the school year, things are just moving right along. Getting to this point is always so difficult, but I feel like once we get past like winter break, or this year it really went into getting past the first semester, things kind of start to calm down and slow down, and they're a little bit easier to plan and get stuff done. this tuft of hair right here I thought was my cat, and I was ready to turn around and tell him to get down. So I got one head of broccoli done. I'm getting to the second one. And again, just trying to get these to be somewhat even in size so that they're roasting evenly. So this is one of the meal prep meals that I like to make for lunch. Obviously, I wasn't going to make a video doing all of them. That would take a lot more planning than I'm capable of right now. But I feel like once I had the idea for this video, that's when the cats decided to run the water in the kitchen and flood it. So I feel like right now I'm lucky to be able to do this at all. I thought it'd be fun to do it in March because who doesn't love alliteration? We can call it Meal Prep March. So I was hoping to do this as I was meal prepping. If I'd been able to do it over the past couple of weeks, if I'd even been able to meal prep over the past couple of weeks, it would have been a little bit different. I could have shown more things, but I just wanted to make sure that I still had a new video to go up on Sunday. So here we are. So what my husband and I are doing for lunches this week is salads. Salads can be really quick and easy because we just buy like the bagged lettuce, which you don't have to. You can cut up your own lettuce if you like. But having the bagged lettuce just makes it so fast and easy. So we use that. We cut up red pepper sometimes a green pepper, cucumber, tomatoes, whatever else you would add to a salad. But for us, like, we need to have chicken in there because if there's no kind of protein, we are starving and the salad is not enough to sustain us. So for chicken, I kind of do what I did with this chicken, which I'll explain in a minute. Or what I really like to do is buy a rotisserie chicken on Sunday and then cut everything up. I mean, not everything. We are typically just eating the breast meat, and then I'll eat like the drumsticks for a snack or lunch or something that day. So with the salad, so with the chicken that's in the oven, what I did was put some oil down in the bottom. I used extra virgin olive oil for like everything. I don't even really think about using a different kind of oil. I put it down in the bottom, put the chicken in, and then drizzle olive oil on top, and then I season it with whatever I feel like, which today was salt, pepper. I have this Italian seasoning grinder that I really like to use, Mrs. Dash Table Blend. It's salt-free, and then I add the salt. It's a little ridiculous. I've skipped the salt before and it was good. I don't know, I just keep adding it, like I just forget. Paprika, and sometimes I add more garlic powder if I want to, which this week I did. So now I'm done chopping up broccoli and the sweet potato. I'm going to drizzle olive oil all over it, and this helps it to not stick, and it also helps seasonings to stick to it as well. So I'm just gonna mix this up on the cookie sheet itself, just to make sure everything gets a coating of oil, and just so everything's kind of spread out, distributed more evenly. And then I'm going to season it. And I feel like because I did a lot of seasoning on the chicken, I'd rather keep this a little bit simpler. So we'll do a little bit of salt, and I like a lot of pepper. And then I'll do some garlic powder. And I'm just making sure everything's kind of spread, that it's in like a single layer, that things aren't kind of like piled up on top of each other. Okay, and so for whatever reason, whenever it comes to roasting something, I always have to look up on my phone what the temperature is and how long it takes. So what I found this time says 425 degrees for 425 degrees for 20 minutes. So I have to preheat the oven. The chicken's done now, so I'm gonna pull that out. So now I'm going to chop up Brussels sprouts because I'm going to add that in. My husband doesn't like the Brussels sprouts, but I do, so I cook them separately. The roasted vegetables and chicken's just a really simple meal to prep for lunches at work. In addition to salads, sometimes we'll do whatever we have for leftovers. So when I meal prep, I don't actually prep for the entire week. I typically do everything on Sundays, so I feel like leftovers are good for 4 days. Anything after that, it just kind of grosses me out a little bit. So I plan to have whatever this is for lunch Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, what I'll do is bring like a frozen meal, like a Lean Cuisine, or because we didn't have a kitchen, I discovered meals called Healthy Choice in Walmart. They were actually really good. And I'll have something like that, or leftovers of something that we had for dinner throughout the week. For the Brussels sprouts, I'm gonna link below the recipe that I use. Total time elapsed so far is about 22 minutes. And I started with the chicken already in the oven, so it really doesn't take that long. I honestly like to use meal prep time as time to kind of decompress because I'm doing something that's kind of simple and it doesn't take my full focus. So while meal prepping, I like to have my iPad next to me and I will watch YouTube videos, or I'm in a couple of different courses and I'll watch the lessons from there while I'm doing cooking. Okay, so now these all go on a cookie sheet, and I like to make sure that they're all face down because I took each Brussels sprout, chopped off the stem, and then cut it in half. So they all have a nice flat edge, and I like to make sure that's down on the cookie sheet. And then there's a couple extra leaves. They're gonna get nice and brown and crunchy. And then eventually I get really impatient with the spoon and just start doing everything with my hand, even though it's gonna get oily. So at this point, the sweet potatoes and broccoli have 10 more minutes, and I have to get the Brussels sprouts in, and I'm just waiting for that. So I'm going to actually turn off the camera to conserve the battery and space on the memory card and just clean up while I'm waiting for all that to happen. So we got the broccoli and sweet potato out of the oven. Just double check the sweet potato with your fork, make sure it pierces through. That's how you know it's done. So normally for meal prep, we would cut up the chicken and make more than just 2 pieces, and we put everything into containers for the week. So this is a little bit different because we're gonna have this for dinner. And I really can't think of anything else I need to mention about this, but I'm always looking for new, different meal prep ideas. I feel like lunch is the most difficult thing to meal prep for. So whatever ideas you have, please leave them in the description box below. So I'm going to wrap this up so I can enjoy some time with my family. And as always, thanks for watching, and make sure you come back because our next video is going to be all about meal prepping for breakfast.